Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Claudine.
We're here today to discuss if regular taxpayer Joe or Sally should call the IRS themselves if they're having a tax issue.
Yes.
A couple reasons why it may not be the best idea. One concern that I don't think is necessarily valid is a lot of people think that calling the IRS themselves, hiring an attorney makes them look guilty.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily true.
Right. Hiring that the IRS doesn't look at, no matter if you hire anybody, whether a CPA, enrolled agent, or a tax attorney, the IRS sort of treats it as the same, a representative. And that's all it is a representative. Mm-hmm. It's not something where shouldn't be a criminal proceeding yet. We'll try to keep it from a criminal proceeding. So it doesn't make you look guilty. The IRS doesn't really think anything of it.
They literally get the power of attorney, and there's one person that looks it over to make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and that's it. They don't then open up your case to see what's going on. They go, power of attorney's on file.
So a power of attorney is processed by the IRS. It's something called a central authorized filing unit. Okay, so it's just somebody who's looking at this power of attorney to make sure everything's signed. They're making sure the taxpayer's there, but they're not going into the taxpayer's case. They're just like, yep, going to put a power of attorney on for this tax year, this tax form. That's it, goes on. They're not doing anything else. And I think if you contrast that when you call the IRS yourself, you're going to talk to representatives. Hold on a second, I need to get up your case. Okay, I see that you owe this. You're unfiled for this. So what are you going to do here?
Do you want to pay in full now?
Yeah, you can pay in full now. We do take credit cards, and officialpayments.com. You can go there and pay your taxes in full. Can you borrow money from family members?
So they're trying to maybe strong arm you or catch you off guard. Perhaps.
Right. Well, they're trying to collect revenue for the government. That's what they're trying to do.
That is their one main goal.
There you go.
And I think when you're calling yourself, it's easier to get emotional. It's hard to be objective. And this is bad. Because if you get emotional with an IRS employee, they're not supposed to react. But sometimes they do.
They do, and they can, sometimes they do pull a little bit of attitude. They have with me. Can you believe that?
Never.
They have with me. I'm such a sweet guy. But you just sort of stay above it because you're not going to get anywhere with that. If the person's going to take that attitude, you're not going to get anywhere. Just deal with it to see, okay, maybe is this person the final decision maker? No. So sure, whatever you say, I'm going to call back later, or I'll talk to your supervisor, or I'll do something else. Right. So, but how do you know? Because you're calling this person, and as far as you know, they're the authority on everything, and they know everything about you. They control everything. So the chances of you maybe freaking out a little bit are pretty high.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, when you end the call, they tell you that you have 30 days to call back with your financial info.
All right. Yeah. So let's say that you don't enter into a payment plan. And let's just say you're just calling here because, I have some tax returns I need to file, and I know that I can get transcripts. And I know the transcripts to get. So I'm going to call the IRS to get transcript for myself. Now, you used to be able to go online to get your transcripts. You can't anymore because of the identity theft. So now you have to call. So I'm going to call and get these transcripts. And now the IRS is like, okay, right, you're going to file those returns to lower the returns we've prepared for you, but right now you owe this much, so you're going to pay this much. So yeah, I'll send you those transcripts you'll get in 2 to 3 weeks, but right now I got to collect from you. So if you don't pay, they're going to say, well, you better call us back in 30 days with your financial information so that we can enter into a payment plan. Now, what people typically do is, it's so hard to know all the rules of how you structure a financial statement to show the least ability to pay to the IRS.
Legally and morally.
Legally.
Yes.
Morally is, I'm not going to get into that.
Now, when you call, they're not necessarily going to call you to follow up, but this has now put you into the automated collection process, starting the IRS notice stream. Yeah,
that's right. So it could trigger something to say, whereas your case was there's a lot of collection cases where nothing is going on. And that sort of surprises a lot of people, I think, that they say, well, I've been getting away. I know I have the IRS for a long time, but they're not coming to do anything, so maybe they forgot about me. Well, it's not they forgot about you. It's that the queue of where the collection goes, you're not there yet. Here's the example. The IRS will actually reduce the amount of levies they send because when they send a levy, garnish someone's bank account, well, they know something. People are going to call in. They know that our hold time is 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
So we know we can levy all these people, but we don't have the resources for all these incoming calls. So we're only going to send out this much a day because that's how many we can handle.
Oh, okay.
So what they're going to do though is you're going to be a special one. Maybe you were here. Oh, you've got bumped up. You got priority boarding.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
So let's say you do call back with your financial information. Yep. That's where you can really screw yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because like you said, you don't know necessarily all the allowable expenses. You don't know how to structure it to make it look like, I really truly can only afford to pay $200 a month. But when the IRS looks, they go, you can actually afford to pay $700 a month.
Right.
And now they have all your financial information, so can easily levy that $700 a month. So, I think with us, when you hire a professional, an attorney, a CPA, they're going to be a lot more familiar with how to structure things correctly. And there's little tricks, legal tricks.
And you'll know before the call is made. The last thing you want is to be surprised on the call. And also, when you call, you're not going to get the same person. So if you're calling and, there's some people who are really sweethearts, they're really nice.
Yeah.
But you might not get them again. So you might get someone to say, well, I don't know who told you that, but you're going to do this. And this is the way it's going to be. Like, whoa, oh boy. Okay, so here's the information. And then they come like, well, I came back with it and now you could afford to pay, more than you can. Well, what are my options? Nothing. You have to do it. Yeah, of course you have options.
You do.
So you want to know exactly what you're looking at before you call. You want to know what's the problem. You want to know the entire scope of the problem. And you want to know what the likely outcome of the call is going to be before you call.
So you're not surprised.
Right.
So yeah, your professional will also know how to negotiate with the IRS, and they, there's some things we know too. For example, the allowed, you can have a certain amount of life insurance you can write off.
That's right. Yeah, this is one. So here's one example of sort of the financial structuring you can do. If you have expenses, you might be able to take them as expenses. Some expenses you can't. Horseback riding lessons, you might be paying for it. But the chances of that being an allowable expense are low. I could see it working if you need it for therapy for a child with special needs.
Okay.
I could see it.
Okay.
I wouldn't rule it out, but normally, in most situations, something like that is not allowable. Also, a big mortgage payment for something quite luxurious, the IRS says, well, that's nice that you're living like that, but we want a little bit more. So what you need to do is you always need to find what's allowable.
What about college tuition?
No.
Okay, good to know.
Unless you have a court order as a divorce decree.
Okay.
Then it likely is, but you might get a fight on that.
Okay.
So that's one thing that usually isn't. That's usually a big cause why people can't afford to pay the IRS. Sometimes it's the cause why they got into the tax trouble to begin with. So here's one little example of how it works. So we'll look at somebody's financial picture, and I was like, okay, well, you're coming up with an ability to pay $1,000 a month. I really don't want to pay $1,000 a month. Yeah, and I kind of see that. It'd be hard for you based on the actual expenses, based on your income. That's a little bit much. So what can we do to lower this? So one trick we have is like, well, do you have any life insurance? No. Well, you got 4 kids. Do you think maybe it's a good idea that you have some life insurance? Yeah, I guess, yeah, I'll get it. Like, well, here's the deal. If you get a term policy, and a term policy on $1 million of your health is like $100 a month. Get a term policy for $100 a month. That's an allowable expense. Now your ability to pay the IRS went from $1,000 to $900. Now you say, well, but I still end up with the same amount of money in my pocket. True, but at least you have something that's going to benefit you. In this case, also, if push comes to shove and you need to terminate that life policy, well, now you do have that $100 a month. That's just one small example of where, here's the $1,000 a month we're starting with. How do we chip it down to something a little bit more? So there's a lot of little techniques and tricks that we want to have so that we're showing a financial picture to the IRS that's 100% honest, not lying. We're never going to lie. People go to prison for that, but also benefits, advocates for our clients.
So when is it a good idea for a taxpayer to call the IRS themselves?
I would say if you know exactly what's going on and you know exactly you're looking for, and there's a high probability that they're going to get what you want, or they're going to give you what you want, then I would say that's fine.
So rarely.
I suppose, right.
Well, if you do need any help with a tax issue, don't hesitate to contact us, info@irsmedic.com. You can call us at 888-727-8796. There's more information at irsmedic.com. You can like and comment below, and you can subscribe to our channel for more awesome tax updates. Thanks for watching. IRS Medic, the law offices of Parent & Parent, LLP. Real tax attorneys for tough tax problems.